I got a little heated up there, ladies and gentlemen. I admit, and it would help everyone, and including myself, if I was to keep a little bit of a calm head, and in tandem with that, still maintaining the serious approach to that this kind of situation requires. This is the first terrorist attack that's happening. Even though it's not being reported, it's not being acknowledged by anyone as a terrorist attack, and an obvious terrorist attack in the city of Sydney, hitting me very close to home, and that's why I'm getting a little bit heated up, and it's understandable. But I'll try and keep calm, and I don't want to inspire panic and all that, but still, this situation deserves to be treated with the seriousness that it invokes. It is as serious as it gets. It is as real as it gets, and it is the first example of a homegrown domestic terrorist attack in Australia. I'm just going to read you some more news here from the news.com.au website. A hostage siege in central Sydney is continuing, with as many as 50 people being held by a gunman at a popular cafe, which is, as I mentioned before, the Lind Cafe in Martin Place. Now, the Channel 7 building in Martin Place has been completely evacuated in light of the events. At least one officer, pardon me, I'm reading this and I'm making a mistake here. At least one offender took hostages at the popular Lind Chocolate Cafe in Martin Place just before 10 a.m. Some members of staff could be seen wearing their shop aprons and standing with their hands up in the windows. There is also a black and white flag being held up, an ISIS flag being held up in the window. Now, when I say an ISIS flag, I'm adding this bit of information myself. It is believed to be the black standard, capital letters, black standard, a jihadist flag. There is no doubt in my mind that it is. But nonetheless, they are choosing not to call it a terrorist attack. This incident has not been branded as a terrorist attack yet, but police have confirmed that they have moved to a footing consistent with a terrorism event. So they're approaching this as a terrorist attack. The only thing they're not doing is calling it for what it is, a terrorist attack. If this happened in the United States, I was going to say this before, but I got a little bit heated and I had to interrupt the recording. If this was in the United States, it pains me that it's not like this here now. They would immediately jump on the bandwagon, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with calling a terrorist attack a terrorist attack. But maybe it's because of lack of experience that we don't. This has never happened here before, so people just don't know how to respond to it, and that's why they are afraid to. But you shouldn't be pacifying these people, and you should call it for what it is. If you're afraid that you're going to offend Muslims, why would you be afraid you're going to offend Muslims by calling it a terrorist attack? I mean, if Muslims are supposed to be the kind of peace-loving people, peace-loving religion followers, as you make them out to be, as they themselves make themselves out to be, then you should have no problem calling it a terrorist attack. In fact, there should be pressure put on the Islamic muftis and Islamic leadership and everyone to call this for what it is, and to call for peace and nonviolence, and to greatly and voicefully condemn all these kinds of attacks and people who are intent on causing harm and causing terrorism. But yeah, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that happening. We're cowering out, chickening out from even calling it what it is while it's happening. It's already happened. You're not gonna. It's like somebody right next to you in the street cut someone up, chops him into little pieces, and. Now I'm trying to come up with an analogy here, but bear with me. Let's say a terrorist with an Islamic headband and an Islamic flag next to you in the street beheads a person. Are you not going to call that a terrorist attack for the fear that it might happen again? Wait, if it's already happening, that's the last straw. I don't think the line should be pushed back any further than that. If it's already happening. He's holding people hostage at gunpoint. He has every intent to shoot and kill them and behead them and whatever. and they're afraid that this is going to inspire terrorism if you call it terrorism. It's just insane. Calling it terrorism is the first step. Acknowledging the problem is the first step to resolving the problem. So that's my take on this terrorist situation, hostage situation. I'm going to keep updating you as further information comes to light. And I'm going to publish all the information that I can find from various sources. And I'm going to keep very carefully monitoring and to be sure to only update you with the most accurate facts that have been confirmed. And, of course, some of my personal input, which is not going to be in opposition to the official findings. I'm going to keep updating my website, andremain.com, and I really hope and pray that this can be resolved peacefully. But don't hold your breath, folks. These kind of people are far gone. They are out of it. Rather than try and sit down and have tea with these kind of extreme people, we need to just come up with a strategy to eradicate this kind of extremism from our society. And the best way to do that is calling it for what it is and saying, are you with us or are you against us? And if they are not voicing their concern for what's going on, and if they're in spite of all the evidence, further still refusing to acknowledge that it has anything to do with Islam, and still completely failing to condemn what's going on, and these people should be put in the same boat. That's just my take. This is just frightening stuff, and I'll be damned if I'll just sit back and watch it escalate more and more and more and more. Now, one more thing that I'm going to point out is this guy had a gun. Now, handguns are illegal to own in Australia. Handguns are very restricted. They are only legal to own if you are a gun club member or if you're a hunter, and they are only allowed use in those activities. They are not allowed use for in self-defense. And I'll bet you top dollar that this person obtained this weapon illegally. He is no gun club member. He is no. I don't believe he's any kind of hunting association member either. And we need to put people's lives back in people's hands, back in the civilians, individuals' own hands. If civilians were able to arm themselves, they are not even allowed to have comb teeth. They are not even allowed to have freaking scissors on their person. It's considered a weapon, and there's zero tolerance for finding even that kind of stuff on you. People are not allowed self-defense in Australia. This person has his weapon illegally. He's a criminal. People who disobey the law are going to do this kind of stuff, and innocent people are going to be in peril because the law is against them. It's not allowing them to defend themselves. We need to bring guns back gun education and gun safety back into our society, because that's the only way we can really keep people safe. These police, they're trying their best, but they're basically just sitting outside of that cafe for 6.5 hours now, not doing anything. And every moment that they are just sitting and not doing anything is every moment that the situation and the risk of these people losing their lives escalates. It grows higher and higher. So instead of relying on the police, instead of relying on the government, who will come out on television like the Prime Minister and say crap that I can't believe, that really pains me to hear, like, we should just move on. This is, basically saying this is not a big deal. I'm paraphrasing, but saying, people should go about their daily lives. This is a one-off incident, blah, blah, blah. Treating this in such a cold manner and like people's lives don't matter at all this is Orwellian government kind of stuff. And this goes hand in hand with the kind of government that bans people from having the right to defend themselves. Because the kind of government that doesn't allow people to defend themselves is the kind of government that doesn't give a crap about you as a person or anyone else. They only care about their political PC bullshit and coming across as not offending anyone. That's all that they care about. And as long as they can keep cheating and getting re-elected on the basis of not offending enough people, Well, it doesn't matter that they're not doing their job. It just the only thing that matters is that they keep fooling you that they're doing their job and that they're not offending anyone. That they think that their job is being done. It is morally wrong to deprive people from a right to defend themselves. This is, I hope people will see as an example, not an anti-gun issue, because even if guns were legal, this guy with a gun has it illegally, and he's using it for illegal purposes. People who are criminals are always going to find a way to obtain guns, and are always going to do illegal activities, no matter what the law says. Another thing that I think we should focus on is heightening very severely our penalties when it comes to penalizing these offenders in any kind of crime, in hostage taking, murder, rape. All these people we need to reintroduce the death penalty and very, very high jail sentences, because that is also going to act as a deterrent to stop people who would do this kind of stuff. I bet you this person, if he gets out of this situation alive, this hostage taker is going to be out of jail in 7 years or so. I'm telling you, because of the laws in Australia. And he's going to be fully reintegrated into society. He's going to get all the government benefits and all that. Even though he's an Islamic ISIS terrorist. We have taken such a plunge down this precipice of, doing everything the wrong way in Australia. It's been happening like this since before I came to live here 10 years ago. It's been happening for a long, long time. Since the I'm gonna say even before John Howard days, but especially with John Howard and the gun ban, there is Liberal Party, the right wing, so-called right wing party, the Labour Party. They're all working against you. They're working for themselves. They're not working for you. They're working against you. And we need a strategy as people to stand up to them and say, we demand to have these rights. We are done putting our lives in your hands when you so coldly wash your hands off any responsibility when something like this actually happens. We're being taken hostage, and you're coming out on TV and saying it's no big deal. That's what happens, folks, when you put your lives in the hands of the almighty, all-loving, all-wise government. I'm going to keep you updated on the details of the situation, and my hopes and prayers are with the families of these people and with these people.